And what I wore with Aidan Cortana, Alex Mann, and Mitchell Buckley.
I know what else to say, but... Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. If I could draw, I would draw you a picture of the jockstrap my mother bought me for my very first t-ball game. It was white and hard, and after a while, very stinky. It was my only friend. It offered me support that nothing else could offer.
What size was it?
Oh, it was just a training towel. My mom said I needed to grow into my body before I could get a full-size jockstrap. I never knew what happened to that jockstrap. It disappeared not long after my 15th birthday, and no other jockstrap I've had since has been nearly as special. I guess there are just some things only guys can understand, right?
I was so excited for my cousins, aunts, friends, dogs, brother's party. I even went out and bought a crisp new pair of whitey tighties. The party was fun at first, until I began to feel a slight rumbling in my bowels. I needed to take a shit and there was no but I couldn't sneak away to the bathroom just yet, not while the group was singing happy birthday. I clenched and I squeezed as best I could. I felt like my sphincter was going to burst right out of me. By the time I finally got to the bathroom, I realized in horror that my beautiful new undergarments were stained brown.
That's what I call a skid mark.
And that's the story of my first skid mark.
First things are wild. I remember my first car. The 1961 Ferrari 250 GT California.
Ooh.
Less than 100 were made.
Really? A Ferris Bueller reference? So tacky.
I had all sorts of adventures in that car. I remember one time I sped up to 88 miles an hour just because I bet my buddy that he was sweet enough to time travel.
Oh, now back to the future. Could you get any more tacky?
It didn't work. I crashed the car, and now I drive the worst car in the world, a Ford Taurus. Although, not before I got to boink my first gal in the backseat of the Ferrari up top.
I remember my first time shaving. No one told me that you weren't supposed to dig the razor so deeply into the facial skin. Boy, was that a bloody mess.
There are just so many things that every guy has to deal with alone. Girls can turn to their moms for advice about their periods or whatever boob-related problems they may have. But how is a guy supposed to ask anybody about his private problems?
Issues like aiming properly at the toilet and remembering to put the toilet seat back down.
Not to mention remembering to wipe after a number 2.
And no girl ever had to go through a voice change.
Morning wood.
That thing where your scrotum sticks to your thigh.
Correction in the middle of English class.
We all remember middle school. It may be shocking to hear guys speak out about it, but we have troubles too.
Yeah, we do.
Girls will never understand.
Maybe if they knew what it was like, they wouldn't be so hurtful.
Girls can be cruel and unfeeling.
I used to be really into girls who wore high-heeled, thigh-high boots. I once met this gorgeous woman named Frank. No, it goes both ways. You know, like Jamie or Sam or Steven. Anyway. Frank wore these lovely leather boots. If there was anything I really loved about her, it was her designer leather boots. At first, the relationship was awesome. When we were together, it was magical. I would get lost in the scent of her perfume, her breath against my neck, her stubble against my cheek. Anyway, this one time she brought me home to meet her family. Her father was a Baptist preacher, and he seemed to really disapprove of our relationship. Never found out why. He would say things like, "You two sinners are gonna burn in hell." I assume because we weren't married. He would say, "I have no son," which I thought seemed kind of weird because Frank was his only daughter. Anyway, a few months later, Frank packed her bags and started a new life in Las Vegas. She said she had a solo gig.
What a drag.
guys will always be here for each other.
From dealing with the loss of a girlfriend to picking out a pair of shorts to wear for a week straight. Boys will always support each other.
You know, girls seem to think they're the only ones who have trouble picking out an outfit in the morning. Do you know how hard it is to decide between a pair of lightly shaded jeans and a pair of slightly more darkly shaded jeans? I mean, what do I wear?
What do I wear? The shirt with the hole in it or the shirt with the pit stains?
10 pairs of socks, and none of them match my only belt. I have nothing to wear.
My closet's a sinkhole.
It looks like a thrift shop.
It all looks so bad.
We have nothing to wear!
You know, when girls want to go out to a formal event, they just have to choose one dress. A guy has to choose a tie, a shirt. That's like two things.
I remember the first time I wore a tie.
The first time I had to go out all night in a pair of uncomfortable dress shoes.
Let me tell you the story of my first
Car.
Jockstrap.
skid mark,
The first time I bought condoms.
My first steak.
my first dog,
cat. Goldfish.
my first pimple,
My first stick of
my first
deodorant.
deodorant.
My first gay experience.
Just kidding.